All right. Um, I have a story to tell. It's it's actually several stories that I haven't been telling. And the way it culminates, I think there's some beauty within it. So I feel like I need to express it. And you know me, this probably isn't going to be short, even though I'm going to try to make it short. So, um, I have had primary custody of my children for about 8 years. Um, those children came out of a marriage that I was under the illusion that I was happy. It went about 10 years. And then I felt an insane amount of betrayal. Well, that was probably a great portion of my fault within it because as the person I got divorced from, as she spiraled way farther down through her 12 steps, started calling me every day and told me that she's been running from love her whole life because of her upbringing. This is her words, not mine. And the more she thought about love and what love actually is, the only thing she could think about was the way I treated her. This conversation probably happened about three and a half years ago. Within that, it was even like a form of maybe we should try to reconcile this. But I'm living with another guy. I need to get my own place. And you're the last person on the planet. Oh man, the phrasing was, you are the most important person to know that I will never lie again. All right. Every day driving to work for and most of my drives are like 30 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes. So I just sit on the phone and talk to her. She was at work, but she had, we all have our earpieces, and I just, all right. And then about a year went by, and I was like, there's one excuse after another. So in my own heart, I went, let's just go on our own. I'll go my own way. And when it happens, it happens. But what it did to me is, because of my honesty, is everybody that I was involved with, I didn't completely commit. That's my bad. But I was full face on that part. So everybody bumped into me and hung out. Realized I wasn't in the moment. with them. So, ting, 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 ting. And then I really had to do a self-evaluation and go, all right, probably my fault. Then I went all out. Like, all right, never mind. Then I met people who probably have their own hidden demons. So, you know, the gravity didn't match up. They weren't ready. And I had to learn to deal with that. We're not kids anymore. You're starting to go, wait a minute. What? So out of this individual being sober, for a long period of time, actually, I wouldn't say I assisted this person, but I listened. And I gave, I thought about what it was, the old phrase, men are from Mars and women are from Venus type thing. And I want to fix her problems, but a woman just needs you to hear her problems. So I didn't try to fix them. In certain incidents, this individual called upon me, of all people. What? All right, what? And then I'd wait, and I'd listen, and then there was it was almost like, I would hear the moment where they were like, I'm leaning on you, what? And I'd be me. I'd give my advice. During some of these time frames, there was a person that came out of a really bad situation. She said she had no clue that I'd always been infatuated with this particular individual. I mean, for years. We're talking like 20 years. And this person said, the only thing that got me through what I was going through was this particular song, and this particular song, maybe more. But, I'm 3 hardcore at least. And there were songs that I wrote. So we started talking. She was going through something very similar. crazy how God works on this. Addiction and bad relationships and being a lead singer, I guess, I do what I do. I do what I wanted to do the moment I started writing my first batch of songs. You are never alone. That is what God told me to do to the human race, is to help them feel they're not alone. So, me and this other individual started getting very, very close, and she was destined to fail via her own accolades, or whatever you want to call it. And I said, me and you were going to hang out. But we're not going to try to be anything for at least a year. Well, that individual found that, actually put me in a couple of scenarios to where I could have become something deeper in a godly way. But I was a gentleman. And then that person, as they went to fail, about 6 months into it, literally said, I'm not going to make my problems your problems. And took off out of town. At one point, went to come back into town. I didn't see a text. And I could have gone and picked them up and rescued them from a situation, and I'm glad I didn't see it, because what wound up happening is a week or two later, went to a farther town. And then in portions of this conversation, they basically said goodbye. I was almost verbatim, I was too good to be dealing with this. Goodbye. And I'm like, wait, you're letting go of the one person that probably has the strength, what do we call it? The experience. So, and I don't even know if this is true or not, but this is what happened to me. About last September, and I can't even completely, and I'm not going to tell the story, like, straight out, because I'm not, like, a doxing type person, if you know me. I'll tell you about scenarios. When it's really crucial, I'll try to give facts. But, I know I haven't spoken to this person in a long time, and I heard they very well possibly passed away. And it broke me. I had a love for this person. And in the time frame, the way work was treating me and the way life was treating me, and I broke. I went to go sing karaoke, I hang out with some good friends, and even they'll say they knew something was wrong with me that night, I lost myself. And on the ride home, about a mile away from my house, I got a DWI. first time I've ever been in that type of trouble in the 53 years of my life. I was ashamed and I owned it. I got dead on owning it because that's the only way to get over it. I owned it. Everyone around me, my children, my parents, my family, my friends, everybody. I don't want to say everybody ran to bail me out, but within a very short time frame, I felt a lot of love. Now, I will say, the way people act, especially now on the internet, there's a lot of, hey, you need something, hey, and then you go to reach out, and it's not there. So when drama happens, everybody gives you these, and everybody gives you those, and everybody gives you these. Now, fine. I love you all for that. But when it comes down to it, it went from here to there. Good. Because if there ever should be a time in my life where it's all about me, it was then. Fix yourself. So I spent many months being as correct as I possibly could be within this scenario. Hit right up around Christmas, my son I paid for my son to have vocal lessons, and I paid for his car, and I just kept putting myself in debt for Lily and Evan. And I let them open their Christmas gifts early. And I bought them all, both musical instruments and fun things and blah, blah, blah. But about an hour after that, my son runs in the room and he goes, I got the part. And that's the play, if you've all been paying attention, that's the play he was able to just do. So hitting right after January, I don't care what anybody says. I was killing it at work. I was killing it. I felt like I was firing on all cylinders. And give me a moment. Right around that time, right after January, some people, all right, the job I had, the reason I took a pay cut to take it, was they talked about how godly they were. You don't have to be a Christian to work here, but we're going to run this like a Christian environment. Now, credit where credit's due. When I got in trouble, there was a no-call, no-show because I was in jail. I figured everything out. Someone came to my aid. And, well, several people came to my aid. But a particular individual came to my aid, a lawyer, and got me driving, really generous driving privileges with one of those Toxalocks. And I wrote it out. So here we are, January. right at the end of it. Everything's going to be okay. My son, about a year or more ago, decided he was no longer going to speak to his mother. Well, somehow I was blamed for that. She started drinking again, got married, cheated on yet another person, got married to someone else that, I'm never going to speak good about this individual. Never really have, and I'm not going to start to now. Especially if you know the circumstance. But my daughter wants to be around her mother. I don't want my daughter to be around this other individual, but you got to pick your battles. You got to learn what. I digress. Right before, within 1 week, she filed for custody of my daughter, which I've had for 8 years. And if you know anything about me and Lily, just go back and look at the videos. Me and Lily are tight, and I'm proud of her, and I love her, and she has her struggles, and I'm her father, but I'm very maternal within it. We went into court for contempt of her not paying child support. Shows up with a lawyer, and I'm fighting for custody. I'm like, what? What? So anyway, it was an opportunist moment. We all know it. It was an opportunist moment, and she struck. Right before both of these court cases happened, me getting my license back, me pleading guilty, all that deal. And then me saying, hold on, nothing needs to change. I let you see your daughter whenever you want. She's going to graduate from East Central High School, and let me oversee that. I got a call on a Sunday afternoon. My company lets me go. Instantly, the people that I trained within this company are calling me up, going, what? What? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And here's the one thing, because people are like, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And I was like, look, when a snake bites you, you just go into survival mode. You don't chase the snake down and try to find out why it bit you. I've going through a ridiculous divorce, and people just make up their mind on crap or whatever. And again, I'll meditate on why it could have possibly been my fault, but this is dumb. This is dumb. So now, I don't have an income. I don't have a job. I got to tell the court in both cases this. And if you are even possibly wondering if I'm not telling you the truth, this is there. There wasn't a bunch of ridiculous things going on that created this. If anything, there were simple things that could have been rectified through true human interaction. They were not big things. In 1 year, I got 16 certifications that they wanted me, my job, wanted me to get in 5 years. I did in 8 months. I did 16 certifications in 8 months. I studied, I worked, I thought I was firing on all cylinders. So, bad. Life was bad. Spent a month. Got another job the next day, but it wasn't one that, I don't know. There wasn't enough hours. Actually, was making more money than I was making at that job, but not as many hours. Somebody saw my worth, but couldn't, but gave me my fair share within it. Without putting in a resume, 3 huge places found me. That's God at work. The one I thought I was really going to nail, that was perfect from not just me, because some of them were like elevated, ridiculous amounts of money. But I was going to have to move. I'm not going to do that to my family. I'm not going to do it to my extended family that I help with. And I wasn't going to do it to my children. Went to an interview, hour and a half. Killer interview. Driving home. Wow. I was trying not to throw up on the way there. And on the way home, I was like, Shaka Khan. Next day, I was told, you're actually better than the position we want to give you. We're not going to hire you. But the next position that comes up that you're good for, we're not even going to post it online. We're just going to call you. And I sat in darkness. Started having nightmares. Because I'm worried at this point. I'm going to have to get out of the industry. I'm going to have to get out of... Gotta call back. 2 guys just put in their 2 weeks notice. And you're perfect for this. Can you come in for an interview? And I was like, how about now? Well, all right, tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Go down there. Bang, bang, bang. I get hired. Get a decent raise. And, all right. Here's really the reason I put together this video. That's taken way too long, like I told you. But here's what happened. They then said, you're going to be working for the accounts for a local big hospital and actually a national company that is stationed out of Cincinnati. And you need to take some blood work and blah, blah, blah. So I take the blood work. A couple days later, they call me up. They say, your blood work's back. And I was like, guy, my blood work's back. And they were like, all right, just sign off the job site right now. Go get on it, son. I go down there. They literally were like, here, put on this mask. You have tuberculosis. I'm like, what? And I'm like, wait a minute. Am I going to die? Am I... You need to go down the street and queen. I had to take lung scans, and they were like, we'll get a hold of you as soon as we can. I drive home. My kids are on spring break, and I'm like, do I let them get around me? Do I take this? If you know me, I know the masks don't even work. The mask they handed me, but I want to play ball. I can't let it be my fault, even though I know this was horse shit. I sat for 5 hours. And if you know me, my brain tried to find the humor in it. So I started hearing Val Kilmer going, "You're my friend, Wyatt Earp. I'll be your Huckleberry." You know, got a phone call. False positive, you're good. But for 5 hours. God bless, it was only 5 hours. Those were a dark 5 hours where I questioned my mortality. The thing was, I wasn't scared. Like this, Ted, I wasn't scared. Evan and Lily, I was terrified. I've invested so much effort. And I want to see this through. I just don't want to throw them to somebody else. I mean, that's part of the custody battle. She can see her mom anytime she wants. He doesn't want to see her at all. Who do they got when I'm not here? That's terrifying. There's no management. There's no nothing. It's just all legality after that. And if you want to get scared, think about the freaking legal system. My kids walked into the room several times, and they were like, "Is there something wrong?" Or I was tears welling up my eyes. I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. Just a little stress. We're all good. We're all good." Then when I found out, I literally, instead of telling them the story, I just ran up and I go, "Good news. I don't have tuberculosis." My initials are TB, Ted Brazier, but I don't want to have TB. Another funny joke is the last name Brazier in French means inferno, and I'm a burn victim. Don't keep making my name real. So I grabbed my kids and I wept like a baby. I mean, not for a long period of time, but it went. I was Niagara. I was a facial Niagara. And I grabbed them and told them how much I love them and how much I just had to face my mortality and how much I need to be a part of their lives as much as I can before they become adults. That's my story. That's the thing. Overall, that's the synopsis. I held my stress. I've held a lot of stress over this time period. And God saw me through it. Actually, here's what I almost thought happened. My last job let loose of me in order for me to get in a job that made me take this test, and I'm going to find out that I have a deadly disease. Wasn't even that. It was a deadlier disease. I had to face my worth. Somebody that didn't see my worth let loose of me. Somebody else that didn't see my worth let loose of me. By the way, here's the funny part. The company that let me go, They already had a guy on deck that took my position for a lot less money. They took them from another company. That other company hired me, and I got a massive raise. That guy went to something less. I went to something more. There we go, God. Thank you. But in the middle of it, he made me think I had tuberculosis for 5 hours. Look at you. My anxiety levels went to a point to where I was scared for my children. But literally, even though financially, I can't explain it. But I had faith. Now keep this in mind. I had yet to put out one application. And the job found me. God sent them to me. The reason I'm telling this type of story to everybody on the internet it's a form of meditation, it's a form of prayer, whatever you want to call it. But I knew my Creator would take care of me, as He did. And if you're alone and you're scared, go to that place. Envelop yourself. And I'm not going to go new age on you. I'm going to tell you, talk to Jesus. And I'm not going to give you one of those, it works for me type scenarios, because Vodi Bakum Jr. Buddhist works for certain people, and you can grab anything. And if the person wants it to work for them, it'll work for them. That's not what I'm getting at. My faith in my Creator has always and will always take care of me, even when I think I'm dying. Here, and here. And by the way, when I do die, that's the thing. My Creator, with a capital G and a capital J. I'm going to be okay. So are my children. And so are my true friends that trust in the knowledge that I give them.